Most people buy a BMW M3 and think they have the fastest German car money can buy. They are wrong. Mercedes-AMG has 7 levels. The BMW M3 does not even qualify for level 3. Most AMG owners have never heard of level 5. Most BMW owners have never even seen one in person. AMG started in 1967 in an old flour mill with 2 men and 0 support from Mercedes. Today it covers 7 completely different cars. The price goes from $45,000 to $2.7 million. The technology goes from a hand-built inline-6 to a Formula One engine that the United States government banned from American roads. BMW has the M division, Mercedes has AMG. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why those two things are not the same. Level 1, 1971, Mercedes 300 SEL 6.8 AMG. Before AMG was part of Mercedes, before they had a showroom, before they had a logo on any car, they had one machine. A big, heavy, 4-door luxury sedan that had no reason to be on a racetrack. The 300 SEL was the kind of car that company directors drove to airports. It had soft seats, a smooth ride, and a 6.3-liter V8 that made 247 horsepower. Comfortable and quiet, that was its job. AMG took that car and changed everything about the engine. They increased the engine size from 6.3 liters to 6.8 liters. They pushed the power from 247 horsepower up to 422 horsepower. They removed as much weight as they could. Then they painted it red and entered it in the 1971 24 Hours of Spa in Belgium, one of the hardest endurance races in Europe at that time. The other cars on the grid were purpose-built race cars, light, fast, designed only to go fast for a long time. The Porsche 911 ST 2.5 was one of them. It made 240 horsepower and was built with one job in mind: winning races. Nobody looked at the big red Mercedes sedan and thought it could beat anything. It finished first in its class and second overall. A 4-door luxury car that was never built for racing finished ahead of purpose-built race cars in a 24-hour event. The other drivers called it the Red Pig because of the color and the size. The name stayed. AMG did not care about the name. They cared that they won. AMG proved they could win a race. But winning a race is different from building a car people can buy. That took another 22 years. And the car they built when they finally did it was something BMW had no answer for. Level 2, 1993, Mercedes C36 AMG. For most of the 70s and 80s, AMG was still a separate company. They modified Mercedes cars, tuned engines, and sold upgrade packages. They were not officially connected to Mercedes in any way. That changed in 1990 when Mercedes and AMG signed a cooperation agreement. 3 years later, they built their first car together from the beginning. That car was the C36 AMG. The C36 was built on the W202C class body. From the outside, it looked like a regular C-Class with slightly wider bumpers and a small chin spoiler. Nothing that drew attention from across a parking lot. Under the hood was a 3.6-liter inline-6 engine that was hand-built by a single technician from start to finish. Not a team, one person. AMG called this the one-man, one-engine rule, and they still follow it today on their top models. That engine made 276 horsepower and the car ran 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.4 seconds. The top speed was cut electronically to 155 miles per hour. The price at launch was around $45,000. Fewer than 5,000 were made across 4 years of production. The BMW M3 E36 was the car everyone compared it against. The M3 made 286 horsepower and reached 60 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds. On paper, the BMW was faster, but the C36 was the first AMG car you could buy from an official Mercedes dealer with a full factory warranty. It made AMG an available option for normal buyers for the first time. This car is the reason people outside of racing started knowing the AMG name. AMG now had a road car, but what they did next had nothing to do with normal people. Mercedes gave AMG 128 days to build a race car from nothing. The car they came back with ended an entire racing championship. Level 3, 1998, Mercedes CLK GT-R AMG. In 1997, Mercedes wanted to race in the FIA GT Championship. This was a top-level international race series with fast cars from many manufacturers. To enter the GT1 class, a manufacturer had to build a road-legal version of their race car and sell a minimum number of them to the public. Mercedes gave AMG 128 days to build a car from nothing that could win this championship. 128 days. The car they built was the CLK GTR. The engine was a 6.9-liter V12 that made 622 horsepower and 539 pound-feet of torque. The body was made from carbon fiber. The suspension used a pushrod system taken from race car engineering. The gearbox was a 6-speed sequential unit with a carbon fiber clutch. The 0 to 60 time was 3.8 seconds. The top speed was 198 miles per hour. To meet the entry rules, Mercedes built 25 road-legal versions. The price was $1.547 million per car. The Guinness Book of World Records confirmed it as the most expensive production car on the planet at that time. Today, the same cars sell at auction for between $8 million and $13 million. On the racetrack, the CLK GTR went against the McLaren F1 GTR. AMG won the GT1 championship in 1997. Then, in 1998, the CLK GTR started 10 races and won all 10 of them. 10 starts, 10 wins. The Porsche 911 GT1, the McLaren, the Lotus GT1, none of them finished anywhere near the front. The other manufacturers pushed the FIA to cancel the GT1 class. They removed the entire category because they had no car that could match what AMG had built. Other manufacturers canceled their own championship rather than keep losing to one AMG. But that was on a racetrack. What happened when AMG came back to build a road car is the part that made BMW owners go quiet. Level 4 2003 Mercedes E55 AMG. By the early 2000s, AMG was fully inside Mercedes. They had engineers, budget, and full access to Mercedes technology. In 2003, they built the fastest production sedan in the world at that time, the E55 AMG. The engine was a 5.4-liter V8 with a supercharger on top. It made 469 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. The BMW M5 at the time made 394 horsepower. The Audi RS6 made 444 horsepower. The E55 had more power than both and more torque than both by a large gap. It won International Performance Engine of the Year in 2003. The 0 to 60 time was 4.3 seconds in a car that looked completely standard from the outside. No large wing, no body kit. 4 doors, a regular roofline, the same headlights as a standard E-Class. You could park it next to a regular E320 and most people would not notice anything different. The price was around $80,000. The BMW M5 E60 came out the following year with a 500 horsepower V10 engine that revved to 8,250 revolutions per minute. More exciting to drive in many ways, but the E55 had more torque, smoother power delivery, and more daily comfort than the M5 could offer. The numbers the E55 produced were numbers BMW could not match at that price. 4 levels in, a race won, a championship ended, the fastest sedan in the world built. And most people think that is the top of the AMG ladder. It is not even halfway. Level 5 is the one that only 6 people in the entire world own. Level 5 2015, Mercedes-AMG ONE. The name 1:1 meant 1 horsepower for every 1 kilogram of car weight. That ratio had never been achieved before in a road-legal production car. Not by Ferrari, not by Porsche, not by Bugatti. AMG did it first in 2015. The engine was a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, the same basic engine that AMG used in the A45 hot hatch. But AMG pushed that engine to a point that had no comparison at the time. It produced 1,000 horsepower from 2.0 liters. That is more power per liter than any road-legal engine had ever produced before it. The car weighed exactly 1,000 kilograms. The 0 to 124 miles per hour time was 6.2 seconds. The top speed was 273 miles per hour. Only 6 cars were ever built. Not 6,000, not 600, 6 total. The price was $2.7 million each and everyone was delivered directly to a buyer AMG selected personally. The car was never displayed at a motor show with a price tag next to it. AMG built it, delivered it, and production ended. The Porsche 918 Spyder was the closest competitor at that time. It made 887 horsepower, weighed 1,674 kilograms, and cost $845,000. The AMG ONE had more power, weighed 674 kilograms less, and cost more than 3 times as much. 6 cars, $2.7 million each, a power-to-weight ratio that no manufacturer had reached before on a road-legal car. 6 cars. Most car guys will never see one in a photo, let alone in person, and AMG still had 2 more levels above this. Level 6 is the one that went to the Nürburgring and broke a record that Lamborghini and Porsche both thought was untouchable. Level 6, 2021. Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series. The Black Series name inside AMG means one specific thing. AMG took one of their already fast cars and removed everything that was adding weight or reducing performance. They have only used that name 6 times in their entire history. The 2021 GT Black Series was the 6th. The engine was a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. AMG changed it enough that it received a completely new engine code. The biggest change was the crankshaft. They switched from a cross-plane crankshaft to a flat-plane crankshaft. This is the same design used in racing engines, and it allows the engine to rev higher and faster. The result was 720 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. The 0 to 60 time was 3.1 seconds. The top speed was 202 miles per hour. The car came with an adjustable carbon fiber front splitter, an adjustable rear wing, coilover suspension, and ceramic brakes as standard. The price was $325,000 in the United States. In 2020, the GT Black Series went to the Nürburgring in Germany. It set a lap time of 6 minutes and 43.616 seconds. That was the fastest lap time ever recorded by a production car at that point. It beat the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ by 1.35 seconds. It beat the Porsche 911 GT2 RS by 3.64 seconds. The GT2 RS cost $293,200 and held the previous record. AMG beat it with a car that was heavier and front-engined. Lamborghini beaten, Porsche beaten, record broken, and AMG still had one more level, the one that used an actual Formula One engine and got banned from American roads. This is the level nobody talks about because most people do not know it exists. Level 7 2022, Mercedes-AMG ONE. Every car at every level before this one used an engine built for the road. The AMG ONE used the actual engine from a Formula One car and made it work on a public road. No manufacturer had done that before. The engine was a 1.6-liter turbocharged V6 taken from the Mercedes Formula One car that won the 2015 World Championship. That engine alone made 574 horsepower. AMG added 4 electric motors, one on the turbocharger to remove lag, one connected to the crankshaft, 2 more powering the front wheels separately. Total output was 1,063 horsepower. The engine revved to 11,000 revolutions per minute. No other road car engine in production reaches that number. The 0 to 60 time was 2.9 seconds. The 0 to 124 miles per hour time was under 6 seconds. The top speed was 219 miles per hour. The body was carbon fiber. Parts of the body moved automatically to add or reduce downforce based on speed and driving mode. There was an F1-style steering wheel inside and very little else. Only 275 cars were ever built. The price was $2.7 million each. Every single one was sold before production started. The car cannot be registered for road use in the United States because of emissions rules. The Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute came out the same year with 1,600 horsepower and a $3 million price tag. The AMG ONE was not built for top speed numbers. It was built for lap times on real tracks. A Formula One engine, road legal in most of the world, banned in the United States. 275 people own one. BMW has never built anything that belongs in this conversation, and now you understand exactly why. You started this video thinking AMG was a badge. Now you know it is 7 completely different cars built across 51 years. Most people who call themselves car guys know 2 of these levels. You now know all 7. If you own an AMG, drop the model and the level in the comments. And if you want to see what AMG did after the one, subscribe because that video is already coming.